Hello, Bits to Bytes B2B people. We are in my basement. As you can see, there's a huge mess behind me. And get ready for what may very well be one of the worst collection videos ever made. We don't know. It's yet unforeseen, but it's not finished, but it's getting there. I've yet to get any of my posters up, but I got a lot of stuff where I want it. I have, however, moved a lot of my games to the front of their shelves, so you can hopefully see some of the titles. I'm going to try to take my time, go a little bit slow, but a little bit fast, if that makes any sense. I want to show everything, but I also don't want to bore you at the same time. Let's just jump right into it, shall we? Alright, so, first things first, we're just going to start over here on the right side of the room. So this is my cabinet down here. And this is where all the consoles are. Oh, another reason this might be one of the worst videos ever is the lack of lighting in my basement. Now, I'm not sure if my camera's going to auto-adjust because I'm doing this on my phone, and it's not very fancy. And it's not going to auto-adjust. So, as you can all see, there's a GameCube there. What's harder to see is the PlayStation to the right, the Genesis, or the Saturn and the Dreamcast down there. There's a Genesis, a Super Nintendo, Xbox, a PS1, and then 64. And the regular Nintendo's on top of that. Everything is actually hooked up to the TV right now. And I still have a few slots left, thanks to this fancy little splitter down here. My fingers are getting in the way of everything. PlayStation, 64, GameCube, Dreamcast, and the other is for the Saturn Switch. You just press these little buttons and on the Intech switch, and everything runs right through. You can see my basket of controllers. One for all the systems I got hooked up here. That way, at least I can come down here. I don't have to dig through my other large box of controllers, which is something you'll see a little later on in the video. We've got the zoomer wheel and the joystick, which is a QuickShot 2. I think that's what it is. I think it's QuickShot 2. And the farther up we go, the more Nintendo we're going to see. We've got the GameCube here. Got a few games up there, Tony Hawk and Namco. Man Begins, Final Fantasy, a couple Zelda games. And, well, it's not a very large collection. I'm happy with the titles. That's really what matters. Back there, it's hard to see, but the Lethal Enforcer guns are back there. And then the N64 games. I'm not going to flip through every title, because that would just take way too long. And we got some box games up here. And 64 ones from Mr. Quote Fam. So yes, it's still a shout out to him. There's no hatred going on. And the rest of the Super Nintendo ones. And then we got our Super Nintendo games. Let's start left to right because OCD and alphabetical and all that crap. So we got the Battletoads, Congress Caper, a couple Donkey Kongs. F-Zero, which we still need to do that tournament. It's Inspector Gadget, that one that's kind of hidden. And of course, let's let it focus here. Legend of Zelda, Mega Man, Rocky Road. Which if you guys haven't played Rocky Road, you really should. And then all the supers, Mario All-Stars, Mario World, Mario Kart, etc. Then up here are the two big ones, Adventures of Batman and Robin and Mega Man 7, as well as Box NES set. Little Gizmo, Michelangelo, and there's some more regular NES games up there. Oh yeah, I skipped right over the other ones down here. The ones up here are the top 10 favorites. Zelda, Final Fantasy, Turtles, stuff like that. If we go on top of my television, let's zoom out so you can get an idea of where we're going. If I can back up far enough. This is what we'll be looking at here in a moment. On top of my TV, I got my VCR hooked up. because I'm still a VHS fanatic. Anything movies really, but that awesome 80s technology still speaks to me. And then the rest is all Lego Star Wars. I said we got the Sarlacc, we got the Jabba's sail barge, Jabba's palace, Luke's speeder, A-wing. Then we got Vader's TIE fighter here, which you can kind of see the X1 regular TIE fighter. That is from the newer Star Wars. I don't know what it is. I apologize. And of course we have the Falcon and the X-Wing. Up here you'll see more Star Wars and still more of a mess. It's actually that's a Klingon up there. Very first Mego from Luis Mercado, as well as some spare games. We have more Legos on top of my Sega games. My Lego Volkswagen van again. If we go down here, we'll see the Genesis. And much like the Game Gear, we don't have a whole lot of Genesis to look at, but fun titles nonetheless. Including that Castlevania Bloodlines. Then we get into my Saturn, which Saturn and Dreamcast have become my favorite to collect, at least for right now. They provide more of a challenge than most other systems. Anybody can go out and find Nintendo games, it seems nowadays, PlayStation, Xbox, etc. But looking for Sega Genesis and Sega Dreamcast and Saturn especially, it takes a lot more work. There's a Death Proof poster back there. Like I said, this place is a mess. Still a huge work in process. Or progress. I don't know. I'm going to blame that on it being really late at night. And of course my camera on my phone doesn't want to autofocus. But you can see some handheld stuff here. These are the rest of the handhelds. Game Boy Color, Game Boy SP, 3DS XL. The Game Gear, the Atari Lynx, the PSP, and the PSP games, as well as Spider-Man movie and Persona 4 Golden. I don't have a Vita yet, but I couldn't pass up an Atlas game. And then we got Dreamcast down here. Let's see if we can see if these are visible. We got Alone in the Dark, Caution Seaman, Grandia 2. Zacto Hill Strikes Again. This is awesome. Just awesome awesomeness. Resident Evil games come courtesy of Clay Wheeler. Shenmue comes from Selwyn Ritzarilla. And more Star Wars game. Episode 1 Racer, that one. And somebody needs to come over and play that with me. Let's just put it that way. If we go down one more level, we get to the newest system that I've started collecting, which is Xbox. And I found I'm buying a lot of racing games on Xbox. I don't know if that's just because they're easier to find and cheaper on Xbox than they are on PlayStation, but if they keep presenting themselves, I'm just going to keep buying them. I haven't played that BMX game yet, that Gravity game's I need to play a lot of stuff, but I don't have a memory card for my Xbox yet. So I can play stuff, but I can't save anything. Which is what I've been doing, but it's very disconcerting after you put 2 hours into a game and then it's just all bupkis after that. And then down here we have a whole slew of comic books, as well as some guides, actually. I up until like a year ago, I had no guides. It's one of those extra little things. It's like boxed games. I never really do them because I can't afford to spend the extra money. But comic books and more comic books. Mostly my trade paperbacks, my hardcovers, my special editions, stuff like that. Stuff that really shouldn't be hiding in a box. And if we go on top of this one, you'll see my latex Yoda mask, an Optimus Prime Pop, which are these neat little figures that I found out about, I don't know, a couple months ago. I'm trying not to start collecting them because I have so many other things, and then more Star Wars and MASH and some more games, and like I said, the mess goes on and on. And then, my finger keeps getting in the way. I'm sure you guys are hating this, but I'm going to keep going anyway. If you don't want to watch it, it's okay. I completely understand. I will not be offended. I'm hoping these titles will come up. A little bit, maybe. Well, hopefully you can make out most of them. I'll go ahead and highlight a couple. Brave Fencer, Brigandine, Castlevania, Symphony Night. A lot of RPGs, as well as some just some fun ones in there. But RPGs are something that I really couldn't get into when I was really young. But once I was in my early 20s, RPGs are where I started playing stuff like Legend of Dragoon, stuff like Lunar Silver Star Story. And you can't see the ones over there, but that is Lunar 2, Marvel Superheroes, and Mech Warrior 2. I wish I had a way to turn my light on. Wait a second. I'm going to go flippy camera here. Nope. Sure can't. Alright, I'm going to flip it back over. So, no way to turn the light on because of my broken screen. But if we get the light on these ones just right, who knows? Maybe I can show us some more. Like I said, I'll just shout out the highlights. We got Saga Frontier, a couple Spyro games, Star Ocean, and then Threads of Fate, Valkyrie Profile, Vandal Hearts 2. Yeah, I still need Vandal Hearts 1. And Wild Arms 2, same thing, still need Wild Arms 1. But, ooh, Xenogears, yeah. Yeah. I really can't be picky. I'm not into my game collection nearly as much as I should be. So, it's the whole beggars can't be choosers thing. You can actually see all the PS2 ones. I go up a little bit, so as not to catch the light. Like I said, horrible lighting, but it is what it is. Eventually I'll get lamps and hanging lights and everything. That'll make it look all pretty, but I wanted to make a video. One, because someone asked how my man cave was going. And to me, this seemed easier than just typing it all out, even though we're 12 and a half minutes in now. Maybe it would have been easier just to say something. But I was also inspired by our new member, and I forget his name, but he made a video showing off his PS1 collection. And it kind of made me want to make one myself. And if you look right below those games, there's a big box of controllers back there. As well as, standing back up, oh, jittery camera time. Star Wars toys, a couple TIE fighters. We got if it wants to focus, we got an A-wing, a Y-wing, and right over here we got a TIE bomber, and you can't really see below there. But it's a couple RC crawlers. Anyway, this was Star Wars shelf. It is currently a clutter shelf / PS3 games, which I don't have a PS3, but working at the pawn shop, I get a chance to buy some games for cheap, and I don't really want to pass them up. I mean, I can't say no to The Last of Us for $5, so. And I got Vader back here, and there's this is actually a picture commissioned by Matthew Southworth, who is a comic book illustrator. And this is of Frank and Casey. And they're the guys who worked at my old comic book shop. Matthew Southworth does a lot of drawing for Greg Rucka, who's one of my favorite writers. And he lives in Portland, Oregon. So he came up, did a little signing with Nathan Edmondson, and was doing commissioned artwork, and most people, of course, are asking him to draw superheroes, but I wanted something to take back to Nebraska with me that would remind me of my old comic book shop, because, man, the one here fucking sucks. Like, I'm actually contemplating giving up on comic books. They are so bad at their job. That's how bad it is. And this shelf is all anime. All anime. All the time. Yeah, Fist of the North Star. If you've seen that, then you're old. Like me. And the Initial D sets. because I love cars, driving, drifting, anything cars. And, of course, stuff like the robot stuff's what I really get into, the Gundam and the Patlabor and the Robotech. Samurai 7 is fantastic. Even if you're not into anime, you should watch Samurai 7. Because, yeah, it's a beautifully drawn, beautifully written, exciting in every aspect, etc., etc. Then we have just a random animation shelf with a couple of Evil Dead movies. My Escaflowne anime VHS clamshell box set. It's a lot of words for one series. In my Robotech box set, we got my anime VHS down here. And just the standard American animation stuff. American Dad, Boondocks, first 2 seasons of Family Guy, because that's the only ones worth having anymore. My Frisky Dingo, my Futurama, King of the Hill. And then, it's kind of hard to see, but there's the Harvey Birdman, Invader Zim. A lot of the old Aqua Teen, or not Aqua Teen, Cartoon Network stuff, the Adult Swim stuff. Down here, one I'm really proud of, I don't know if you can see it, but that's Toxic Crusaders, the complete series. Which, if you never saw Toxic Crusader when you were a kid, then, well, go look up Trauma Films and Simpsons, stuff like that. And hey, look, more Star Wars. Turtles. You can't see because the lighting's awful, like I was talking about earlier. Turtles, Lego Turtles, Star Wars, Star Wars, Star Wars, Star Wars. Hey look, more DVDs and a big pile of games. More random stuff. Garfield books, model cars, all Volkswagens. The Xbox 360 games are nothing fancy. They were free sports games. They came from my shop. I took them for the cases. Oh, and then Leader Class Starscream. Yay. Posters that need to be framed. Baby chair for when she wants to play video games with me. CDs, most of which are I think what you're looking at right now is, the complete works of Pink Floyd, because it's Pink Floyd. Posters that have frames, some of them not. This is Star Wars, obviously, but art done by Alex Ross. It's a comic book series written by Brian Wood, and it is one I had on my subscription list until a short time ago, because, like I mentioned previously, this comic book store sucks, and they make me not like getting comics because they're dicks. This is Stumptown. This is drawn by Matthew Southworth, the same guy who did the previous artwork that you saw, and is a book that's written by Greg Rucka, one of the best crime books on the market yesterday or today. Future Mechanics, which, if you can look real closely, is a pulp-style magazine done with the theme of Futurama. Get an exclusive look inside the Planet Express ship. This was drawn by, Francisco Francavilla. God, it's been a long time. Francisco Francavilla is a relatively new guy in the comic book market, as far as, being recognized anyway. He's been around for a while, but he did a book called The Black Beetle, which is pulpy sexiness. 5 Ghosts. This is a book written and drawn by Chris Mooneyham. At least I think it's written by Frank Barbary. The artist is Chris Mooneyham, and that one's signed as well, of course. All these ones are ones I got back in Seattle. And then Goon, written and drawn by Eric Powell. If you want funny stuff, pick up Eric Powell, man. His Goon book is ridiculous. They're on like issue 45 right now. He's done a bunch of them. Also, he just started a new series with somebody. Oh, God, what was it? It's just going to drive me nuts now. But he just started... I'll come back to it. This is Amazing Fantasy 15 cover. Just a big Hulkin poster I got from Michaels for cheap. And then these are my two big framed ones. I got my Gran Turismo 3, because Gran Turismo 3, Gran Turismo franchise is still one of my favorite franchises of all time. And someone will recognize this one. This is the one you gave me. And it fits freaking perfect inside that black frame and looks so sexy. And I can't wait to get all these up on the wall, but for now, it's not something that is in the cards. I'm going to go try and find that comic that Eric Powell's writing, because it's going to bug the crap out of me. And you guys will get to see my comic book room too, which is an equal mess. Actually, I don't know. My comic book side is looking good. It's this side because I cleaned out the other side, and when I clean things, I move all the messy stuff to one side of the room and then clean up the other side of the room so it can look all nice like this over here. Except I'm currently in the organizing phase of everything and putting everything into bags and boards, and this is all Spider-Man. Let's see here. There's Spidey. What did he start doing? There's Star Wars. That's a Matt Kint Star Wars. That's not like the Star Wars you saw earlier. Starlight by Mark Millar. And El Capitan. So this is the Killers. Well, Stray Bullet's the Killers storyline. Oh, Stray Bullet Killers. The new Stumptown book. You heard me mention that already. Thief of Thieves. It was a really awesome series that was written by Robert Kirkman, the guy who does Walking Dead. But then he passed it on to Andy Diggle, and no offense to Andy Diggle, but he's not. It's not the same anymore. And honestly, I have become less interested as the series goes on. Fatal Velvet, big stack of Walking Dead. Damn it. What is the new series he's doing? Oh, shit. This one right here. Big Trouble in Little China. Eric Powell's doing a lot of work on that new series, and they're only on like issue... what is it? I think they're only on issue 4 right now, so it's easy to get caught up on. It's not a very popular comic, which is silly, but most of the best ones aren't, so it's easy to find back issues. If you love Big Trouble in Little China, if you want something that's funny, if you want something that's going to be action, all at the same time, nobody does it better than Eric Powell, except for maybe Jim Zub. But I could talk all night about random comic book stuff. And we're going into our 23rd minute, believe it or not. So I'm going to go ahead and say good night, goodbye, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. And now I sound like a Truman guy. Alright, so I am done. I hope you enjoyed my happy little basement video with my dryer going in the background and the awful lighting and just my incessant rambling and, well, on top of tripping over my own words. I mean, what a better way to spend 25 minutes, right? So enjoy yourselves. Go out there and be the best goats you can be. Oh, sorry. The goats. Because if I say goats, Dylan and Lazy are going to get all military and hoo-wah me. So, later.